So in today's video I'm going to be talking about the recent horror release Nothing But Black Teeth, and this is by Cassandra Q. I probably pronounced that wrong, it says it there, that's her name. And this book, if you saw my unboxing of my latest Abominable Book Club box, which I do every month, it's a horror book subscription service. This was one of the books I got in that book box, and when I saw it I was really excited because the premise of this book just sounds right up my alley. It's something that I thought, wow, that sounds exactly what I want to read. And it's a nice little short horror story. I hadn't heard about this book before seeing it, and I hadn't read any reviews on this book before seeing it. So yeah, I was really happy when I got this book in the post. So it's basically a story set in Japan. A group of young people go to this like a haunted house in Japan to have a wedding ceremony, and obviously bad things happen there. So I was like, this sounds great. It's a haunted house story, my favourite kind of stories, and it's set in Japan. That's something different that I haven't read before. But I'm familiar with some kind of Japanese horror stories. Like, I love Japanese horror films. So I was like, this is going to be really good. This is going to be very creepy. I was really looking forward to it. I was like, it's a little short book. I think it's around 100 odd pages, and I can read that in one sitting. Yeah, like 117 pages. I was like, this is going to be great. I was like, the cover looks really creepy with the girl on the front. On the back here it says mesmerising, don't miss, and it said this is Hill House of the Century, and that got me excited because I'm a fan of The Haunting of Hill House, not just the the Netflix series, but the book by Mary Shelley, because she's one of my favourite writers and I loved that book. It says it's sharp, playful, nasty as hell. It is beautiful, it is brutal, it is heartbroken. Absolutely recommend. So yeah, to say the least, I was quite excited to start reading this book. And it was so disappointing. I was heartbroken by this book. That's one true thing it says on the back. It's heartbreaking. I guess I had really, just from the premise, I had high expectations from this book. But yeah, it was really not what I wanted to be. So in the synopsis it says Kat joins old friends who are in the search for a perfect wedding venue to spend the night in a manor in Japan, trapped in webs of love, responsibility, yesterdays. They walk into the haunted house and with their hearts full of ghosts. The mansion is long abandoned and is hungry for new guests and welcomes them all, welcomes the demons inside of them, because it is built on a foundation of sacrifice and bones. And yeah, again, that sounds great, but that's not really what I felt you got in this book. And from the reviews I read after I read some good reviews, a lot of people agreed, unfortunately. So first of all, the writing style. I hated the writing style of this book. It is so overly wordy, like overly descriptive, but like in a really annoying way. It's like every sentence she has to find, it's like the writer had to find some clever way of portraying how the character was feeling or how a certain person looked, and it's like, just describe it. You don't need to use like stupid analogies for everything, and it was literally for everything. And some of them were very repetitive. Like, I'm pretty sure the author seemed to have something about rib bones in this, because she mentioned ribs like every other page. There was something about rib bones, and it's like, okay, why? It was just so unnecessary. And it was just, yeah, it was really hard to get into the story, because I was reading it and I was just like, what? Like, the characters are awful. The characters all seem to hate each other in the book, so I'm like, why the hell are you there? Why did you invite these people to your wedding if you apparently hate them all? And everybody's, you know, has issues with everybody in this group. There doesn't really seem to be one couple that are friends in this book. Like, main character, she's like, oh, so and so, this person's my best friend, and it's like, are they? Because you're kind of bitching about everyone. Like, there's nothing in this book that makes them seem like friends. There's no development in these characters. There's no real backstories behind their relationships. There's just pretty much just pettiness and bitterness throughout all of them. So you're like, why are any of you even there if you're not that good of friends? Why do you even care about each other? And because the characters don't seem to care that much about each other, you don't care about them at all. Like, when it came to like the horror aspects of this book, like when like the ghost like did pop up in the book, like I didn't care, and it really wasn't scary because I was like so taken out of it because I just didn't care about any of the characters, and the writing was so frustrating that I was like, what's going on? And I kept having to like go back and reread little bits, and in the end I was just like, I can't be bothered, and I was like, I wanted to finish it. And even in the end of the story I was like, okay, I read it, it's like a book that I read and that's it. Like I felt like just like, oh, that was kind of crap. So yeah, really bitterly disappointed about this. I didn't find the ghosts scary at all. Basically the synopsis is just what happens. It's a group of friends who go to this house as like a wedding thing, and they're just bitching and fighting with each other the whole time. And then the bride wanted to go to this house because she was interested in haunted stuff, and the story was that this bride died in the house and she never got to meet her husband, and then people sacrifice girls to her to give her friends. Like, okay, why? And they bury them in the floorboards, and that was kind of it. And then one of their friends gets possessed, and again you don't care, and them all panicking and being ridiculous, and then all of a sudden are trying to save each other despite the fact they don't like each other and they could literally just walk out of the house. So yeah, really disappointed by this one. Bad story. I found bad writing. I kind of feel bad saying that. I always feel horrible when I say a writing's bad and I don't like an author's story. I haven't read anything else by this author. Apparently she writes stories for games, like something to do with video games, which, okay, this could turn out to be like a creepy video game, that would be interesting, but as a story, as a little horror novella, it really fell flat for me. And from what I was reading in Goodreads, a lot of other people felt the same. Unfortunately, it didn't have a great review. A lot of people said the same. They didn't like the writing style, didn't like the characters, didn't really make a whole lot of sense, and you just didn't care about the story. It just wasn't scary for me. And there were a few people who did say they found it scary, and if they did, then that's great. But I'm pretty sure this book is going to go in my donate pile, and it'll be one I'm giving away because there's no way I'm ever going to reread it, unfortunately. So yeah, a very bitterly disappointing book. Yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say. I'm sorry if someone read it and they really enjoyed this book and then they come across this review and they're like, oh my god, I totally disagree. That would be interesting actually. If anyone does think that way, then let me know in the comments down below. And why did you like it? What was it about this book that you enjoyed? Because I really didn't. And that's very rare for me. I can normally find something in a horror book I enjoy, because especially a haunted house one, it's one, like I said, it's my favourite genre. And I have just done a video on The Home Before Dark, which I did really enjoy, so that review will be up soon. But yeah, unfortunately this was a no, it was a pass. Like I said, it's going to be going on the giveaway pile. But you know, you can't always like all the books that you buy to read, so there we go. I think this is the first book that I really disliked from Abominable Book Club. Normally I really love their books. Like I said, I get them every month. I get the books, I do an unboxing, and then I review the books I get, and I'm pretty sure this is the first one that I've got that I was really disappointed in. You know, most of them I love, and some of them I'm like, oh, this is good, a few bad points, this and that. But this is the one where I'm like, there's no good points to this book. But I'm glad I gave it a go. I'm glad I tried it and found out I didn't like it, because if I'd seen this in the shop, honestly I would have picked this up to buy, because it really does sound like something that I would enjoy. So yeah, unfortunately it just wasn't for me. So let me know your thoughts down below if you're going to try it, and if you have read it and liked it, why. That would be great to know that. So yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say, and as always, thank you for watching. Until next time, bye guys.